Hello and welcome to episode 8 of deValiante Reads Highway Blossoms by Studio Elon. This kinetic novel was part of Humble Bundle's bundle for racial justice and equality. It also contains strong language, sexual themes, and deals with loss and grieving. If you're not in a headspace to handle these topics, please consider skipping this video. Now without further ado, let's get started. A brisk wind curls around me as I step out onto the patch of dirt that can barely be called a parking spot, in a place that can barely be called a campground. Misty curtains have settled over the nearby hills and mountains, and small specks of leftover morning dew occasionally drip on me from above. Bending down, I drop my backpack and pull on the tongue of my sorta new hiking boots. A little big, but they'll work. Considering these came from the stash of supplies we borrowed from Mariah in New Mexico, her feet must be freaking huge.
All set?
Marina is standing behind me, frowning at her own Velcro-strapped boots.
Just about. These boots are pretty big, though.
You think so? They feel a bit snug to me.
Jeez, never mind about Mariah.
Hey, forget about the treasure. Let's just dress you up as Bigfoot and turn you in for a cash reward.
The joke is awful, and I know it. Still, Marina plays along, sticking her tongue out in a half-playful manner, before she forces a tired smile. The whole time, she doesn't make eye contact. So much for lightening the mood. Last night's sudden tension is still present, even though we try to ignore it, or pretend it isn't there. We both know. We both can't look at each other directly, and our conversation feels awkward and stilted. But we pretend everything's normal as we try to put on our best performances and reenact our usual routine.
So, how long is the hike?
The brochure said about 90 minutes each way. Might take even longer in this weather.
Oh.
I can feel the gulf between us. It's like yet another canyon, except I don't know how to cross this one.
The picture in the brochure was super pretty. Angel's Landing, right?
Now it's her turn to try and lighten the mood. I hate how we're both too afraid to just address the issue. But I'm just as guilty as she is here. I sigh and play along as best as I can.
Yeah, it's nice. It's supposed to be the most scenic view in Zion.
That's what Gramps told me anyway. This hike was one of his favorites. Said the view is so lush, that there's so many trees and plants, that he discovered several new shades of green up there. It's one of the spots that he was most looking forward to visiting with me. I glance back up at the mountains. The mist doesn't look like it will clear anytime soon. In fact, it seems to be swallowing up more of the landscape. It's got Marina's attention too. She stares up as if she's picking out specific details in the fog. While she's distracted, I let my gaze rove over her again. Guiltily, like I'm sneaking glances, but I don't care. Admiring the sweep of her shoulders down into her collarbone and the rest of the curves of her body, I let myself examine her like I did when we first met, and like I've been consciously abstaining from, looking her over like it doesn't matter if she catches me anymore. She doesn't, though. I may as well be invisible to her right now while she studies the mountaintops. And I want her to pay attention to me. She's wearing her usual boutique brand clothes. Their cute frilliness is just as perfect as ever for Marina, but they clash with the clunkiness of the ugly brown boots.
You sure you want to wear that? They might just get in the way.
She gasps, almost offended by the suggestion that she wear anything else.
But my skirt is so comfy. Aren't you supposed to wear comfy clothes on hikes? Besides, with a name like Angel's Landing, it has to be pretty relaxing.
I doubt it. She gives me a big, honest smile, tipping her head to the hills. It's the first real smile I've seen from her all day.
So, what are we waiting for? Let's go.
I melt, letting her skewed reasoning fall to the wayside just once. Warm fuzzies and a goofy grin take over my dour mood just for a moment.
All right, but no whining if they end up being a problem.
Slinging the backpack over my shoulder, we head to the shuttle that leads to the trail. Logs and a stone fire pit adorn the side of each lot that we pass. Maybe when we get back, we'll go to the camp store and pick up some supplies to roast marshmallows. I think she'd like that. Marina's heavy breathing guides me as we slog our way uphill, the previous light mist having now morphed into a thick and dreary fog. I cling to the chained railing as I stumble my way up the trail of rocks. It's the only protection from the sheer drop-off beside us. All it would take is one slip for me to take a nosedive into the valley below, and I wouldn't even see it coming. Turns out, the fluffy and enticing name Angel's Landing doesn't come from the relaxing stroll Marina was hoping for. This feels more like a ghastly death march. My sweat-drenched legs feel like pudding under the anchor that was measly 5-pound backpack. No one else on the shuttle even bothered to attempt the hike alongside us. I attempt to form words between pained breaths, feeling like a rock is being smashed into my lungs with each step.
We should turn back. Can't see Jack. It's not safe up here.
What?
She sounds like she's doing about as well as me, echoing the same lung-puncturing gasp.
But we're so close! There's no way we're not almost there!
We stop collapsing against our knees as we try to catch our breath.
Not gonna mean a lot if we end up falling off a cliff.
I thought you were the one who wanted to do this so bad.
Every couple words are punctuated by her gasping for breath.
Yeah, but...
Amber, please, let's keep going.
Her voice has a whimper, fragile and meek. I fold.
Okay.
Marina has a way of making me shut up when she wants to, whether she knows it or not. Today, it doesn't make a difference. I'm not going to be the one who makes things worse. She's wrong about one thing, though. I wasn't the one who wanted to hike up here. Gramps was. It gets easier after our break. The trail begins to plateau and the steepness evens out, fading behind us until the return trip.
Whew, I think we're already here. See? What did I tell you?
Marina darts ahead, disappearing into the fog so she can look at the mythical view that the brochure and I have preached to her for, and Gramps to me. But if my suspicions are right, this weather and the view aren't going to be very compatible. Following behind, I step out of the cloudy murk and into an area that offers only slightly more visibility. Marina stands still in the center of the cliff, her hand clutched to her heart. What should have been a bird's-eye view of Zion is nothing but a sea of fog. The lush greenery and full valleys are invisible. Only a few overgrown bushes and some rocky points peek out above the clouds. I was expecting it, but the sight itself is really numbing. The hollowness in my stomach, the one I've gotten so used to feeling, rears its head once again, only intensified by Marina's silence. Any expression shrouded by her bangs as she tilts her head down.
Sorry.
Gently, she shakes her head.
Don't worry about it. It's not your fault. You tried to warn me.
Marina.
But I don't want to say. I'm disappointed too. There were lots of places that Gramps always talked about visiting. After we settle down and kick back for a few years. After I finish repairing the RV. After I get better. This place came up more than the others, though. Just not Zion, but the landing. Kept saying we were going to hike up here, have a picnic, maybe. Maybe watch the sun come up. A slight smile comes to my face as I think about him trying to make that hike. I'd have liked to see that geezer try. While I'm not big enough While I'm not a big enough sap to try and make all of my grandpa's plans happen now, it would have been nice to see the view. With Gramps, Marina, and everything that's happened over the past month, it just seems fitting to make the trip. Angel's Landing. I glanced back to Marina, the hand that was clutched to her chest now stretched outwards, grasping at the empty air. A slight breeze blows through, ruffling her hair. She looks beautiful. She looks angelic. I didn't go to church much as a kid, but she looks like someone I'd seen on a stained glass window, right next to a rendition of Calvary or Skull Hill. It's frustrating to have come this far for nothing. But is it because of the fog? Because of Gramps? Or because of Marina? My teeth grit, grinding against each other under what feels like an unimaginable weight.
Come on, let's go.
I turn around and began down the slope. There's nothing worth seeing up here. Marina doesn't follow. No spirited footsteps trailing behind me, no speeding bullet blazing ahead.
Marina, we're going.
It comes out with more bite than I intended, but I don't care. I just want to get out of here now. Marina is hesitant to answer, but eventually managed to spit it out, sounding more like a question than an actual statement.
I don't want to.
What?
I don't want to leave. Not yet, anyway.
Annoyed, I turned back to her for an explanation, only to be greeted by a pleading look instead.
I'm used to it by now. I know I am. But do you think we could wait a little longer? Just to see if the fog clears?
I don't know what it is. I respond with a blank stare. It's like she's not even talking to me.
Don't be stupid.
Wrong thing to say. I start back down the hill, not bothering to wait for Marina this time.
It's past noon. If it hasn't cleared by now, then it's not going to anytime soon.
So much for not making things worse. I nudge the fire with a stick. It doesn't do any good, though, as the logs just tumble on top of each other, smothering the already pitiful flame. For a moment, our lot is only lit by a few remaining embers in the pit. Sighing, I grab a bottle of lighter fluid and squirt it onto the ashes. An artificial flame roars into existence, then peters out in the size of a pathetic candle flicker just as quickly. I plunge the stick back into the fire and scrape cinders from the glowing wood. Eventually, a flame catches on a charred log and grows until the pit is blazing once again.
Aha! About damn time.
The joy is exclusive to me, however, as Marina stays silent, staring into the fire.
Want another s'more?
She bounces back to life.
Oh my god, yes, please.
She catches herself and switches back to broodiness.
I mean, sure, I guess.
I roll my eyes, but can't help smiling on the inside. No matter how hard she tries, she's still the same Marina she's always been. I grab a marshmallow and stick it on the end of a bent coat hanger before handing it to her. Without another word, she plops it into the fire. Meanwhile, my eyes are drawn to the neglected bag of hot dogs laying behind the chocolate and graham crackers, unopened and ignored. I bought them because I thought Marina would like the variety, but I should have known that she would only go after the marshmallows. She's been devouring them. She opened the bag when we left the store and was half empty by the time we got back to the campsite. She clung to the bag like a security blanket the whole way, It's a miracle there are any left. Shrugging, I take one of the hot dogs out of the bag and impale it on my coat hanger and put it in the fire next to Marina's. Even when we're this close to each other, there's still an air of tension. The one that's pervaded us since we left Arches. Neither of us have addressed it, but the inevitability of the treasure, the thick uneasiness that hangs over us, it's suppressed, but it's definitely there. But it's gotten better since we left Angel's Landing. The snacks were a peace offering of sorts, I guess. Although I was pleasantly surprised that she sat so close to me, even with 3 other logs around the fire pit. I fix my gaze on the flames. The dog is slimy, oozing with condensation that drips and sizzles in the ashes.
Oh, God, it's on fire! It's on fire! Fire! Fire!
Yeah, that's the best kind of marshmallow. Calm down. Marina's coat hanger whooshes over me like a spastic comet, the marshmallow smoldering ball of an inferno.
Here, give it to me!
But it's on fire, Amber! Fire!
I can see that. Just give it!
She panics, squirming as her precious marshmallow burns before her very eyes.
All right, just don't hurt yourself, please.
Frantically, she passes me the wire, biting her nails as I try to blow it out. Soon the fire clears, the marshmallow once a white and fluffy, now black and charred. Oh, the best kind. It's all gooey in the center. Oh, yes.
Aw, now it's ruined.
Shut your face.
It's no big deal. You can still eat it.
Preparing the s'mores, I break apart the chocolate and cracker, then squish the marshmallow between them.
Ew, gross. But it's all black and stuff.
Not all of it.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it. Honestly, I think I might prefer it burned.
Yeah, it's the best kind. It's like the one time that Amber and I have agreed on something.
That's so... ew.
She gives a nervous laugh.
Here, just try it.
Marina stares at the s'more and gulps.
Fine, but only because you asked.
Closing her eyes, she opens her mouth wide. Wide open. This time, it's my turn to gulp. I shuffle back. Subtly trying to avoid eye contact and once again failing, I pop the s'more into her mouth and let out a restful sigh. Like bubblegum, she munches on it in the corner of her mouth, intently trying to dissect the flavor in her own cute way.
So?
Her eyes grow wide in shock. Yeah?
It's good.
Yeah?
Right? Doesn't it give it a nice smoky flavor?
It's a little bitter at first, but the marshmallow gets really crunchy. So good.
I told you so. You just gotta give these things a shot.
I can't believe I had my first s'more and found a way to make it better in the same day. I feel like that would take most people like a bajillion years to figure out. But it only took me one night 'cause I got you, Amber.
Gobsmacked? Dumbfounded? They're both stupid, fancy words, but I think they work when trying to figure out this thing sitting beside me.
Amber?
You're kidding me.
What?
Your first s'more?
Well, I've seen people eat them on TV and stuff before, but
You have never ever had a s'more in your entire life.
now that I think about it, I guess I haven't.
That's incredible considering that you live in New Mexico. Like, I feel like that's... I don't know, honestly. I feel like people like fires everywhere. Not just in New Mexico. Like, I know people in Texas sure as hell do, and people here in Oregon sure as hell do. So, like, the fact that s'mores, like well, I don't know. Maybe you're from, like, a super fundamentalist Christian family? I don't know.
That confirms it.
Huh? Confirms what?
You're an alien. The government has just been keeping you hidden all this time. That's why I met you near Roswell. It's the only explanation.
Rude.
I I'm not. If I were an alien, then why do I look human?
Cloaking device?
That's just a flesh suit. A disguise so you can blend in.
That's mean. You can't just buy these good looks at the costume store.
Wow.
What's your sector ID? Is this your first time away from your home planet?
Amber, stop. It's not my fault.
Her face puffs out, and I have to resist the urge to poke and deflate it. If I don't quit, she may actually start pounding.
I'm sorry, I'll stop.
I'm tempted to squeeze one more joke out, but decide against it as I try to hold back the snicker under my breath.
I think I like you better when you're serious.
She crosses her arms, turning away as she closes both eyes to block me out. Then with a grin, one eye open. We both burst out laughing. Since the hike, the fog has climbed down the hill, enveloping the campground. Even here, it's carved out a small pocket, the breezy chill surrounding us as we take in the warm glow of the fire. It feels nice.
But for real, I still can't believe this is your first time leaving home.
She settles down a bit and places her hands on her lap, teetering side to side as she looks to the sky, even though there's nothing to look at but mist.
Yeah, sometimes I have trouble believing it too. Since there's so many of us, I guess Mom and Dad could never afford to take us anywhere.
That's what I thought. Her family is as big as she says. It's not like they could have just packed up and traveled like me and Gramps.
You said you have 9 brothers and sisters, right?
Yep, there's 9 of us, plus Mom and Dad, so 11 altogether.
Jesus.
Right? Everyone says our house is pretty big, but it's always been so cramped that I've never been able to tell. I've never even had my own room. I've always had to share one with some of my sisters. My older brother shared too, until one of them went off to college.
Is that the same brother whose car got torn apart by Mariah?
She laughs guiltily.
Yeah, he always called it his love wagon.
Ew.
If that thing was a love wagon, then my motorhome is a love palace.
Ooh, that's a good name for it.
Don't even start.
Anyway, he said he wanted to get a new one when he got to Salt Lake City, so I don't think he'll be too angry.
Hold on, that's in Utah too. Why didn't you tell me? The detour would have been a pain in the ass. But if you wanted to visit him, I wouldn't have minded the extra miles. Not if it was for you.
Marina does a double take, and I realize I've given too much away.
You'd have to pay for gas, though.
Marina blinks, then smiles. Crisis averted.
Nah, it's okay. I want to do this without my family's help. Besides, it's only a community college.
Your brother moved from New Mexico to Utah so he could attend a community college?
Uh-huh. He sends me a gift every month. Last month, it was a top hat. I put it right on top of the desk in my room.
She pauses for a moment.
Mine and my sister's room, I mean.
Your family sounds about as weird as you.
Really? Huh. Yeah, I guess we are.
She beams, wearing the title... Jesus Christ. She beams, wearing the title of weird like a badge of honor.
That's not a good thing. Actually, maybe it is.
I like it. Besides, Dad keeps us all in line. He's a defense lawyer, super straight-laced. You remind me of him, actually. He likes everything nice and orderly, which is bad for him because he's surrounded by us, but...
She talks for a long time, chattering and laughing about her family, the smile never leaving her face. I almost get lost in it. I almost want to. For the precious minutes that she speaks, I forget the tension that shadow us since Arches, and could believe it was never there. I love that about Marina. Even when we were wet with rain, or humoring truck drivers, or racing a lunatic down the highway, she never hesitates to smile. For her, it's always poised on the brim, waiting to shine through. I could listen all night, but she trails off only a short time later.
I'm sorry. This must be boring, right?
Nah, I can tell you love him a lot. It was always just me and Gramps. So it's sorta interesting to see how other families work.
The lot falls silent, save for the crackling flames. I brace myself for what I know is coming.
Hey, Amber? What happened to your mom and dad?
I stare into the fire. It pops, casting up delicate embers that fall and vanish in the dirt.
I'm sorry. That was too personal.
No, it's fine. They're both around, I think. Only met Dad once a long time ago. Me and Ma don't get along very well. Haven't spoken to her since I was 16. Last I heard, she was living in some trailer park in Ohio.
Is that why you lived with your grandpa?
Sorta. Ma always had her issues. So the court said Gramps could take care of me when I was a baby.
I stifle a laugh.
Not that it did any good. The geezer had the bright idea to haul me around the Midwest and East Coast for half my life.
He took care of you all by himself? He must have been amazing.
Try again. He was an old hippie who was stuck in the 70s and spent most of his time listening to weird music.
Sounds just like you.
Hey, watch it. If anything, he was more like you. I was always cleaning up his messes, even as a little girl, even near the end.
Amber,
It was always just the two of us, though. Us or any random old friend he wanted to see. Even when he decided to settle down in Colorado, it was just us. People would come and go, but it was always us. And I was there for all of it. I was there for every single appointment. I was there at the hospital, and I was there at the funeral. Ma didn't even bother to come to that, but I was there. And he was always there, too.
You really miss him, huh?
My voice lowers to a whisper, raspy and dry.
Yeah.
Something slumps against my shoulder. Glancing down, I discover Marina's head resting against me.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Ah.
She looks up at me.
Want me to stop?
Nah, keep doing it.
Okay.
We should turn in soon. We have a big day ahead of us.
Yeah, maybe.
We sit in silence for a little while, or maybe it's a long time. I can't tell. It's a nice silence, though, a comfortable one. Finally. Thank you for joining me for episode 8 of Highway Blossoms by Studio Elon. Episode 9 will be out shortly. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment letting me know what you like down below. Please no hate or spoilers, as I'm not above removing those comments and the people who make them. That's all for now, folks, and I'll see you next time.